growing this morning.
That's right. It's time to get growing with Hy-Vee and Jerry Kluver. And Jerry, no excuse this weekend not to get out in the yard and get her cleaned up.
That's exactly right. First of all, good morning everyone out there. And like Amanda says, hey, great to have you back.
Thank you.
Anyway, it wouldn't hurt to tidy up on some last-minute chores. I know I'm going to plant some bulbs yet tomorrow. And, of course, it's probably going to be a great day to go out and pick a Christmas tree. If not, put up that pretty artificial tree.
All right.
You bet.
Well, let's get started with our email questions. We've got Eileen from Fort Dodge. She says, I recently had grass seed planted in an area where a tree was taken down. Do I still need to be watering this seed even though the nighttime temps are in the 30s and the days are warm? How long do you keep watering them in the fall?
Well, Eileen, your question right off the bat would be to water clear up into December if you can. You know, it's a little crunchy out there right now, but that grass seed you got down is what we call a dormant garden, dormant seeding. And, of course, it would appreciate a little bit of moisture. So don't put the hose away yet. Once you do use it, make sure you drain that hose out. And make sure everyone else, too, make sure you unhook your hose because it's going to get chillier. But clear into December if you can. It's going to be 45 degrees today. So grass seed and even other new nursery stock would appreciate water.
All right, thanks, Jerry. Well, Sean from Gowrie has this question. She says, I potted a rose. I think it may be a tea rose. I moved it into an unheated patio that stays warmer than outside, but it will get down below freezing. Will it be okay in there, or does it need to come into the house?
I'd really like, Sean, you to get out and plant that rose in the ground, get some good soft topsoil around it. It's out there on the market where it's not frozen. Make sure you water it in real good, and you know a hybrid tea rose, you need to pile some dirt up around it. They've got collars out there to manage the soil around it, and get it in the ground. It's going to do a lot better. If you bring it into the house, it's probably not going to do as well.
Okay, very good. All right, Marilyn in Brooklyn says, I have a knockout rose that I planted this year. Should I cut it down now or leave it alone?
I'd leave it alone. Tie the canes up. Maybe mound a little dirt around it, too. A knockout's a very hardy rose. And then, of course, you could give it a last-minute watering. If you wanted to, you could put some burlap around it. But I wouldn't cut it back. Get the soil up around it. Maybe some leaves, and then cut it back when you see the green in the spring, which will probably be late April. And don't cut it back too severely because we want you to have pretty roses next year.
I was going to say, yeah. Pat from Des Moines says, I bought 2 outdoor ferns from a greenhouse and put them both in pots. Should I bring them in for the winter, or will they make it outside?
Also on that, I'd take those ferns and try to find a shady place out back in the shade, and of course water those in, maybe cover them with some leaves. If you bring them in the house, you could probably treat them as a tropical houseplant, but that perennial hardy fern would rather go outside, and with the ground not frozen yet, I would do it yet this weekend. 45 degrees, in the 40s tomorrow, perfect an opportunity to do it right now.
All right, and Rosemary in Osceola wants to know, do I cover my roses and my azaleas now, and if so, what do I cover them with? I planted one last year, and it just about didn't make it through the winter.
Yes, I would definitely get those roses, of course, covered sometime here with December coming on us. You could put the soil around them, wrap them in burlap, and of course the azaleas you could water in, wrap with burlap also. Keep the tops open, and you're going to be fine. And by doing what I just said is going to help repel any rabbits or rodents or critters to be eating on them. Okay?
All right. And Obie in Waukee says, I have 4 20-year-old red barberry bushes that have lost leaves on some of the branches this year. I've always kept them trimmed to about 3 inches. Is that 3 inches? 3 feet?
3 feet. 3 feet
3
tall.
feet tall. Can I cut them back and take the dead branches out? If so, how far back should they be cut?
Well, 20 years is quite a while for a barberry bush. Go ahead and cut them halfway back. Trim all the dead out of them. I'm sure they were affected by all the moisture. Next spring, we're going to recommend that she gives them a good fungicide once they leaf out, and we're going to watch them so they don't turn black and what have you. But we're getting close to the age where we may want to replace those. But go ahead and water them in fine. Get the dead wood out. Cut them halfway back. No further than halfway back. They don't like to be trimmed too severely.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jerry.
You bet.
If you have a gardening or growing question, drop Jerry an email. Go to Hy-Vee.com and click on the Get Growing logo, and he'll be back next week to answer more of your questions. Ed Voss in after the break with some giggles to help the troops.